Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and this week we got even more major updates announced for World of Warcraft. In a recent blog post, we find out that class sets are coming to the trading post over the next few months, featuring an iconic set of gear and even weapons to match every one of the Dragonflight's playable classes. This week we also got a fresh new stock up of brand new goodies, as the trading post is packed with new additions for this month of August. And even WoW Classic has finally got the hardcore mode announcement this week, with the community update set to drop later in August. But this week we also get even more class changes, as more of our favorite playstyles have seen additional bug fixes, changes, and tuning when it comes to PvP combat in the patch 10.15. But in today's video, I wanted to really highlight some of the bigger updates, specifically the class sets and how you can start preparing for them early, as well as the recent class changes. But right before we get into the set of updates, most of you guys watching these videos are still not subscribed. However, the more of you remind, the more of you do, so let's keep it going. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell if you're watching these videos anyway, especially if you want to get more regular content regarding Dragonflight, patch 10.15, or any future updates going forward. New class sets are coming soon to Dragonflight, featuring an iconic set of armor for every one of the iconic classes of World of Warcraft. Some of these class sets have been previously data mined during the early stages of the PTR, and at the time we had no idea how we may even be able to acquire some of these items. But in recent Warcraft posts, we now know that class sets are coming to a trading post near you. Each of these armor sets is meant to emphasize our class's unique identity. Whether you are a rogue who skulks within the shadows, or a mage looking to harness all of the magical elements, or potentially even a demon hunter set on destroying all in your path to eradicate the demonic threat. Each set of gear comes with specific armor pieces, like a helmet, a pair of shoulders, a belt, as well as weapons to match every one of your playable specs. The class sets will become available to purchase on the trading post throughout a monthly rotation, with the September set to launch weapons and armor sets for paladins, priests, and rogues up first, followed by October release with death knights, demon hunters, and druids. Warlocks, monks, and warriors are to be featured in November, while hunters, mages, shamans, and evokers are featured in December. Both the class sets and the class weapons will be sold separately. The armor sets will cost you 450 tender, while a full set of weapons will cost you 500 tender at a time. Since these are class sets, it means that these transmogs will be exclusive to that class specifically, so your mage will not be able to wear the priest's appearance to look like an Azathian cultist, and you will not be able to use the Death Knight's gear on your warrior, for example. It may also be a good idea to start saving some of that trader's tender starting this month, especially if you plan on collecting as many of these sets as you can. So be sure to complete your month's activities to maximize the amount of trader's tender you can earn at a time. And now to pass it off to you guys in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on these upcoming class sets? Are there any specific armor sets you're excited to purchase with the trading post currency, and which classes will you focus on first? Or are you more likely to skip out on all these class sets in lieu of all the other items coming in the trading post? And what are your thoughts on having a class set include only the helmet, shoulders, and belts and weapons, rather than an entire set of armor for every single armor slot? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Besides the new class sets, we also have even more class changes arriving this week in the patch 10.15, with some new PvP changes set to go live with this week's reset. Starting with the class of Death Knight. Death Knights have seen a rise in popularity over the last few weeks, with their number slowly growing over time since the most recent changes with the 10.15. However, most Death Knights have found themselves successful within PvP, specifically on the spec of Unholy, but not so much when playing the spec of Frost. Frost Death Knights are set to get a bit of a leg up in this reset, with abilities like Frost Strike growing in power, increased by 67% within PvP, up from its original 45% value. Obliterate also sees a solid increase, buffed by 20% within PvP, up from the original 15%. Obliterates will also deal 75% more damage when the Killing Machine proc isn't active, up from its original 60% buffed up value. And while Frost sees buffs, the spec of Unholy is set to receive some reductions this week, as it seems that their damage output is slightly higher than what was originally intended, especially when it comes to their burst damage output. Therefore, the effectiveness of talents like Festermite is being reduced by 50% within PvP, limiting Unholy's scaling damage factor. And the damage of Festering Wounds, which can be popped simultaneously with abilities such as Apocalypse, creating a wild burst combination, is now reduced from 250% damage increase down to 30% damage increase within PvP. Druid saw a handful of quality PvP changes and fixes, with abilities such as Incapacitating Roar, which was broken over the last few weeks and allowed certain classes to parry, block, and even dodge its incapacitation effect. And they also fixed an issue where reactive resin would fail to silence their targets consistently. The class of Monk also sees small reductions this week, with its Rising Sun Kick damage reduced by 9% within PvP. And recently, we've seen a rise of the Windwalker Monk's reputation at the top end of PvP, with this change will likely to help offset some of those gains with a small reduction to both the burst as well as their sustained focused damage. Lastly, the spec of Fury Warrior is set to gain a buff this week, as Rampage damage is set to deal 30% additional damage within PvP, up from its original 15% increased damage value, which is a buff to a very basic ability for Fury Warriors, which will hopefully improve both their burst capabilities as well as their sustained damage output. And that's going to be everything we have so far for the most recent announcements for Dragonflight in the patch 10.15. I want to thank all of you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What are your thoughts on the upcoming class sets, as it is a topic of discussion within the community, with many expecting that these unique items will be available through a Mage Tower-like challenge experience, but instead they're being made available for everybody through the traders' tenders. But everyone has a different definition of what a full set should be, and many expected that it's going to be an item set of head to toe with every armor slot included, but instead only select items are available. Of course, we have a feature like Transmog, and you may be able to combine these pieces with other armor sets in order to make your own unique appearances. But many in the community still wish there was a full armor set to go with all of these items. Also, let me know in the comments below, what are your thoughts on some of the upcoming class changes, and are you planning to give Classic WoW a go again with the new Hardcore mode coming out real soon? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments. As per usual, if you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, in the description of every single video and live stream, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Probably the best place to reach out to me directly in case you want to let me know what you thought about this video or hang out with the rest of the community to discuss some of the upcoming changes. Join our Discord to become part of the community. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know all of your thoughts down below, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.